All right, we're with Rod MacVicar, one of the founders of Mossom Creek Hatchery. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Lovely day in the spring here.
So, why did you start this hatchery over 30 years ago?
My goodness, that's a difficult one. I used to drive to school, lived in Belcaria, drive to school every day over this creek, and thought it runs clean and runs all year long. Would pull over and look at it, but no fish in it. I thought, wow, that's sort of interesting. There's a creek, but no fish. There's habitat. And thought, well, we should follow it up. And later found that they were extirpated or removed from poaching and overfishing and some sediment events from early logging and housing development. But that was all done now, so we thought it would be maybe a good opportunity to see if we could put fish back.
Oh, so the development was complete, so you felt this was a time you can actually go back in.
I thought that it was starting to be stable because it ran all year. It was nice clear water, not like Noon's Creek, which was pretty flashy, would go up and down, warm in the summer and dry. But this is pretty nice all year round, so this might be a great candidate for putting fish back.
Great. So, as an educator, what role has this hatchery had over, the 30 years, and what have you seen with kids?
Well, it's not about fish, basically. That's what we found, and it's like what you do is art is probably not about art. It's about the people that do it and the effect it has on people. And I think several people working here thought it was really about raising fish, and that we would count our success by the amount of fish we put out and whether we got back to historic numbers. But it isn't about that. It's about raising children and letting them experience nature, work with things, and you only care about what you know about. So if you don't know about these things, you don't care about them. So that's why I did it as an educator. But as a biologist, it wasn't as much about fish.
So what have you seen in like some success stories in some of your kids? Like, because over 30 years, some of them probably have grown and had kids.
Yeah, our president, Kyle Pilon, his mother, Judy, was a student of mine. So we're into second generation there. Kyle's not having any kids right now, I see. But they're third generation ones. So they keep coming back like fish. And so it does have an effect. And I hear from students in the past that they'll get in touch with me and say what they're doing, and it may not be their career, but they take their kids to the beach, they take them to a stream, and they do things, and they're more aware of nature than they were before. So I think that maybe all I wanted to do is give kids another set of lenses to look at their environment, sort of through the lens of an environmentally bit more sensitive person.
There have been a lot of kind of pressures on the wild salmon, and there's multiple factors. What do you feel right now is, one way to replenish them, or multiple ways to replenish them?
Well, I'm beginning to think with our need for food and the increasing need for food that the era of eating wild things is rapidly coming to an end. The ocean is the last frontier where you can go out and get wild, unmanaged populations and harvest them relentlessly. But that era is coming to an end, so if we're wanting to eat proteins or carbohydrates, we have to probably raise it and grow it intensively. So we better do it with a little more wisdom than we're using right now.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I think we just can't use Mother Nature to put salmon farms and dump their wastes into the ocean and affect a lot of other ecosystems. Won't have to worry about wild salmon catching things because they'll be gone. But other things. So I think balances in nature, and just the same as a feedlot with pork or beef, monoculture of corn or wheat, all these things, we'll have to examine them.
So you think we're lost now with the ability to replace wild salmon, even if last year's sockeye run?
Well, nobody's even sure why last year's sockeye run happened. I think they'll come back. I'm sure they will, but whether they'll come back to a level that we can harvest them again relentlessly with the population growth, if we're careful, if we stop harvesting them, I think they'll come back. Lots of things have come back, but not to a level we can really do much with them.
Some people say that we need to change the type of seafood we're eating and go down lower on the food chain. Do you incorporate that in your diet?
I do, only because of cost. But I like sardines and I like herring. I like herbivores, so I don't have to eat halibut or black cod or salmon or things like that. So I would eat a sardine as well as I would eat salmon.
So what's your best sardine recipe? Can you share to the world straight out of the can, or do you do anything exotic with it?
Oh, just like anything kippered or smoked, or sort of a British sardine type recipe, kippers. But in any sauces, mustard sauces, they can be as elegant as you'd like to make them. But probably a lot more sustainable, because currently we're just using them for animal food, salmon food, and bone meal, and food for other fish. It may as well be food for us, I guess.
Yeah.
We're eating lower on the food chain, for sure.